Okay, welcome everyone to the InstructLab community meeting, the first one for the brand new month of June. It's officially summer. Well, at least in Finland, it's, nice and warm compared to the rest of the year. Just a few regular items before we start with the main agenda. All these meetings we are having in InstructLab is governed by the InstructLab Community Code of Conduct. So for more information, you can refer to that link, which links to our Code of Conduct page on GitHub. All these meetings are recorded and will be posted after the meeting into the InstructLab YouTube channel. There's also a playlist available for the past meetings in the series. And since they're recorded, if you prefer not to be on camera, that's fine. Just feel free to turn the camera off, and also the Google chat is available if you want to chat via text instead of speaking up. It's fine. And we will try to, towards the end of the meeting, get people to, if you want, introduce yourself, to get to know more people in the community. We've done that for the past couple of meetings, a few people each time. So feel free to volunteer or even nominate somebody you would like to hear more about. Let's get to know our community members better. All right, we have a pretty full agenda, so let's get started. The first one is, I heard there's some interesting upcoming InstructLab CLI changes, and this will actually impact the way the CLI works for InstructLab. Maury mentioned that somebody in the team, is it Charlie or somebody who might be able to talk more about this?
Yeah, so I was planning on talking about this at the CLI specific community meeting, because I think it's a better topic for that.
Right.
But just to go over it sort of briefly, I think I've mentioned this in a couple of community meetings, but we are planning on adding resource groups for the commands in InstructLab. So the way that I designed it is InstructLab commonly deals with similar-ish resources. So things like models, the configs, stuff like that. So we're going to have commands that are grouped under those parent groups is the way I like to think about them, or resources. And then there's going to be like subcommands or child commands under the parent groups. The reason we're bringing this up is because as of the next release, a lot of the flow that people are used to is not going to work anymore. Of course, we're going to document this pretty thoroughly. But the reason we're doing this is because the command line is growing, and the way that it's currently designed is it's just one parent command with a bunch of child subcommands underneath it. And it's not really sustainable as we add more commands, like Mark's SIG-store signing, for example, would be a great command to live under the model subgroup. So that is in the works. There's a PR in flight. I'm still working on getting it in, but it'll be in for the next release. So I'll talk more specifics about this at the Thursday community CLI meeting. But I figured I'd mention it here. I see Nathan, you have your hand raised.
Nathan, please.
Yeah, I was just going to add, in addition to like this, obviously this is a big breaking change. So we actually do have, I'm trying to find a PR here. But we actually have a PR from Sebastian that is sort of introducing like a release note for some of these things. So this is another one that if this is something you're interested in, you should take a look at. This basically will sort of define sort of exactly how we're going to express these breaking changes and things like that. So yeah, take a look at that as well if that's something of interest.
Thanks, Nathan. And Russell also added that the current ILab commands will still work. Users will be able to type commands like ILab model train or ILab train for the foreseeable future to ensure feature parity. Eventually, these aliases should be removed and only the subcommands should probably exist. So please check out these two PRs if you're interested, and also attend the the CLI meeting on Thursday to get more detailed information. Thank you. Yes, great, Charlie. Thank you very much. Any further comments and questions? I will divert you to the CLI meeting on Thursday. All right. So next up, we have the InstructLab front-end documentation on the website. I assume InstructLab.ai. Ali?
Yeah, this is just more of a general docs question for the community. One thing I've noticed is it seems like the README has sort of been or become the docs for the front end, and as the commands grow and the complexity of the CLI grows, I was wondering if like it's already on someone's roadmap to have a website dedicated for the commands and the subcommands, or yeah, I just want to know if that was on someone's radar, because I think the README is not as simple to just go through and get started with iLab really quickly. Oleg, you've got your hand up. Go for it.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
the answer's already
agree
yes.
with that idea. What I'm trying to wonder is, I don't know of any project that has documentation specific for the CLI. If anybody knows of any that do it well, I feel like that would be very, very good to follow.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed, and I'm not saying that they do it well. I haven't looked around as much, but at least VLLM, which I'm working on adding a backend for, they have like the docs for their CLI on their website. I can share a link, but I kind of want to just get the discussion started here. Do we know if InstructLab.ai, the repo, is like open to adding like a page where we'd put the docs in, and is anybody else interested in working with me on this? If no one else is already, like, if that's not on somebody else's radar, you go for it, Oleg.
We would probably want to have it, because I think the community website, if I'm not mistaken, is a Next.js website. If we were to do a docs website, it would probably be a docs render, which would mean it would be a different site. So it would need to live under a subdomain. So I guess what I'm saying, it would be a different repo, but it would be a subdomain of InstructLab.ai.
Got it. I saw Russell has, it seems like that at least this has been discussed before. And yeah, I know Kelly's like on vacation right now. Maybe she probably knows.
Kelly's back from vacation.
Oh, she is? Okay.
Is there an issue that's discussing this so we can put it in the document, in the meeting notes, so people can refer to that?
I'm pretty sure there is. I haven't been
Okay.
able to find it yet, but I'm looking.
All right, if
Yeah.
you do, please add it to that thing, so that we can continue the discussion. There is a repo for the website, but like you said, the document, the doc website will be a separate one, and then we could have a subdomain or something that links to that. But either way,
Yeah.
that's a possibility. Yes, Oleg.
Yeah, that sounds
I
great.
just realized that we would want it to live probably in the same repo as the InstructLab CLI, because if somebody makes changes, then they could quickly like Control-Shift-F to find where it's referenced on the docs.
That's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, JJ, do you can you talk a little bit more about the make docs when you talked to Kelly about it? Guess was that like for the whole project, or maybe something like more triage and taxonomy specific? Maybe he's not there.
Yeah,
But
JJ, are you there or on mute perhaps? Let's see.
okay, I can.
Yeah.
He said to ping him later. I
Okay.
just wanted to really get the discussion started amongst the group and see if that was on anyone's
Yeah.
roadmap.
Yeah, Ali, there is, I don't know if it was mentioned, there is a PR open around this, around the idea of this, doing make docs and stuff. So I can ping it on you. I don't have it exactly now inside in the CLI repo.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so there's been work done. Help me out here, Russell. Someone was using a different framework to do it. And then I think Christian came in with MK Docs then, because it's usually the standard way putting out with Python.
It's a little different. I think you're thinking of Sphinx. So that PR was about adding Doxygen config that's like code level docs, developer oriented docs,
Yeah,
and then saying no, we can do Sphinx for that. So this is what Ollie was talking about is more user oriented. So I think it'd be a different set of docs, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No worries. And also I think this would be InstructLab wide, not CLS specific. So there was past debate on put it in an existing repo versus a separate one, or if it's a separate one, do all the docs go there, or do you let a subset of docs live in each other repo and try to combine them all? Anyways, we never fully settled all that. But for whatever reason, I cannot find the open issue on this in Skeleton.
Yeah, I'm
But
looking for
I know it
this one too,
exists.
because I think we discussed it. I'm also trying to find it, but I can't find it.
Yeah,
Well,
It's out
we
there
can,
I know
show it later. Yeah. Thanks. And we've had this discussion in other projects too, when there's documentation for different parts of the project. So I at least in the Ansible side, we ended up creating a separate docs repo because we had it for a core, for the different collections, so it's easier to have it in the same repo to update the documentation, like you said. But then again, for overall updating docs and finding documentation as a whole, it's easier if the documentation has its own repo. But again, I know there's more experts on this topic, so I'll let you continue the discussion in the issues. And Oleg?
I see both points. I just wanted to quickly ask Russell, if we started it in InstructLab and then wanted to move it to a separate repo, would that be difficult to do?
I don't know about
Probably not.
typical. It's
Yeah,
doable, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
some redirects can be put in place. So at least for Ansible, we've done it. We moved it from the Ansible/Ansible repo to Ansible/docs or documentation. So it's possible.
Yeah, you'd be okay once you've written it in Markdown, probably.
Yeah.
So even if you can't transfer it across, you could lift and shift and then put it into whatever framework you want then to render it for the website.
for what it's worth, though, I mean, I am a fan of keeping it as close to the code as possible, as much as that's practical to do so, because I think it's what makes it easiest to keep things up to date.
Yeah, from a maintenance point of view, though, and a contribution point of view, and just those 2 points of view, it's sometimes better having a repo on its own. But I think that's up to who wants to come up with the framework and so forth.
All right. Any further comments?
No, I'll probably try to dig the issue up and add it to the agenda if nobody else finds it before the end of the meeting. And if one doesn't exist, then I will open one up.
Yeah, that was what I was about to suggest. Thanks, Ali. Thanks, everyone. Okay, let's move on to a demo. Mark mentioned last week that he did a demo in the CLI meeting, but
Yes.
we asked him to also share it at this meeting. So I'll
Yeah.
stop sharing now, and I believe you have now rights to share your screen if you want to do that.
I do indeed. I will do that. Well, hello everybody. Yeah, I have a demo to give today. Some of you folks may have already seen this demo, but I do have something new to share. So hopefully it'll be interesting to folks. But yeah, just to give some background, since people might not know what SigStore is, SigStore is a pretty big project that's been going on in the kind of software supply chain security space. The idea being that it's a project to kind of make signing as easy as possible, really as close to one click as possible. And the way they do this is through a set of tools that help with both signing and also signature storage, hence SigStore, signature storage. Most notably, there's the record transparency log, which is what stores those signatures and allows you to verify them in different places pretty easily, usually with just a single command. And this is a pretty big project. It's been pretty it's pretty well spread out among like the kind of container world. It's widely used, and I thought it would be cool to kind of integrate it into InstructLab, and that's what I did, and that's what I'm going to demo today. So yeah, this is my terminal. I'm in the InstructLab repository. This is my branch with the changes. The first thing I add is ilab sign. I'm going to do -help. So this basically just signs a model with SigStore. And if I cd into my models directory, I've got the Merlinite GGUF model. Ignore this file for now. And what I'm able to do then is I can do ilab sign, and I'll do the staging instance of SigStore. And what this will do by default is it'll pick up that Merlinite model. And what it'll do is it'll pick me out to a browser. And this is the way SigStore works, is it uses OIDC authentication to grab the underlying email identity that's backed by an identity provider. So I log in with GitHub, and effectively what this is doing is it's telling SigStore, this person owns this GitHub account because you have to log into GitHub in order to do this authentication. And once that authentication is done, it uses the identity that's provided by that step to create a certificate, which then is used to sign whatever the artifact is, which in our case is our model. And we can actually go back to the models directory, and this second file I told you to ignore earlier is actually the sigstore.json bundle file. So this is basically what contains the signatures and all the metadata that's required to make sure that it's authentic. So I can just show you what that looks like. Oops. Not that. Dot sigstore.json. That's what I want. There you go. So this includes the body, the signature, the digest, has the inclusion proof. This is a pretty standard SigStore artifact. The next thing that we can do is we can verify this signature, and you can do that with a second command called ilab verify. And I'll do --help. I got to change the help text there. Verifies a model with SigStore. But yeah, the verify command has some additional options, including identity and issuer, and this allows us to basically verify the model. I'm going to verify it with the identity of markbest.bu.edu because that's the email that I have associated with my GitHub account. And if I run that, should verify. And indeed it does. Pass verification. But notably, if I change the identity, so let's say bu.com, which is not my email, it will fail. Yep, it will fail. And I'll say that the reason it failed is that the certificate was signed with markbest@bu.edu, but markbest@bu.com was the thing that we tried to verify with. So yeah, that's sign and verify. Those are the two basic ones. The thing that I've done new since the CLI demo that I gave is there's also a new option in ilab download. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to point it to a different repository than the default, because what I've done with this repository is I've actually uploaded that SigStore bundle that I showed, this file, up alongside the model in Hugging Face. And what I'm able to do is download the model, and since it's already on disk and it's the same one that I signed, it'll download it, but it will also verify it in the same step using that same verification code that was up there as well. So the idea behind this is potentially sometime in the future, if for example we wanted to sign or rather, yeah, the InstructLab community wanted to sign the Merlinite model and kind of verify that it came from us. We could maybe sign it with like an InstructLab email, and we could tell people, hey, make sure that the model you download matches the signature that you provide. I can even, I think, if I do this, you can see that if we change the email that I signed with, it will again fail. Actually, never tried that, so that's cool that it worked. But yeah, that's the demo. That's SigStore in InstructLab.
All right. Thanks for the great demo, Mark. Anyone has any questions or comments for Mark? Yes,
Plus
Julia.
one over here.
All right.
Julia.
I had a quick question. What are use cases for this? So like when would somebody need to use this?
So the idea is that, well, for one thing, like I mentioned, it could be used to verify the base model that is downloaded originally from, to do your initial training. But additionally,
why would somebody need to do that? I guess I'm just like a little confused about the verification. Like when is it needed? Why is
it allows the user to verify that the provenance of the model is where it's where they think it's from. So you can verify that the signature, the cryptographic signature that was provided came from a specific identity. And if it doesn't come from the identity, you know that somebody else trained that model. And yeah, what Gregory said in chat too.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's the big. Yes.
Sorry,
yeah.
Mark, continue.
Yeah, but additionally, what I was going to say is that it could also be used to verify the provenance of like individual fine tunes, for example. So like if some random user, trains their model on, a specific taxonomy, and they say, hey, this model was trained on, I don't know, U.S. patent law. I don't know. I chose the first thing that came to mind. And they sign it, then someone who downloads it can then verify using that signature that it is actually the same one that this person is claiming and not something that was trained on, I don't know, like French patent law, something different. So the ability to kind of verify cryptographically the provenance is a pretty powerful capability.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep. Russell, did you have something you wanted to add?
I was just going to say something about the protecting it if someone were to make a malicious change, like maybe someone got access to an account where we were storing artifacts and someone made a change, they wouldn't be able to redo the signature. So that's a benefit of detecting if someone made a malicious change to a thing before you downloaded it.
Yeah. JJ.
Maybe this is just me not understanding SigStor completely, but could we have our own like EA to say that these models are coming from us and these are our versions, or is there like a standard? Like, I'm putting my SSL cert hat on, right, with like VeriSign and all, or is that something completely different?
We could totally do that. Yeah. The capability is in the pull request is open on the InstructLab repository right now, but you can totally, SigStor is like open source. We could host our own version of it or, fork it and add ML specific capabilities if we wanted to, and use that as the backend infrastructure for it. So that's totally possible. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
I hope that answers the question. Carol.
Yeah. Is it already in InstructLab or is it going to be released soon?
So there are two pull requests that are open on the repository right now. One of them has those first two commands, ILAB sign, ILAB verify, and then the second one is on top of that first one and includes the changes to make it work with ILAB download. I don't anticipate that it'll be merged soon. I think I want to wait until Charlie's redesign gets merged so I can, again, redesign it to make sure it fits into that framework. But it works, and I'm hacking on it to refine it and add more features. So yeah. Oleg.
What model formats does this work with?
So actually, it could be anything. The SigStor, the way I added SigStor integration into InstructLab is that it's just basically it's standard artifact signing. So any raw file will actually work. So I did GGUF because that's the format that Merlin is in, but you could take any model format and it should work too. There are some discussions going on that I'm having with some people talking about potentially maybe putting models in different formats and how we could potentially leverage additional capabilities that are present in the ecosystem. Because a lot of the SigStor infrastructure is really built around containers and like OCI artifacts. So if there's some way we could maybe get models distributed in a format that's more like that, then we might be able to unlock some more of those capabilities. But those are kind of, preliminary discussions.
Would you be able to, or what would be needed to do to support the Hugging Face format? Because I believe that spits out not an artifact, but like a cluster of different files. So there's like the state tensors, there's the tokenizer, and a few other things.
Yeah. I think Gregory has a link there, but you can also sign an entire directory. So that should also work.
Oh, okay, cool. Very neat.
Yeah.
Thank you for the demo, Mark.
Yeah, thank you for your questions, everybody. And but if anybody else has anything else, I would like to answer them.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. And feel free to ping him on Slack if you have further questions.
Yeah, I am available.
All right, cool. Thanks for
Thanks, everybody.
that. Yes, let's continue. Let's see what's next. Okay, I think, oops, yeah. Okay, so just a few kind of items for people's knowledge. If you're interested in the PyTorch conference, which I believe it's September, yes, September, end of mid-September in San Francisco. The CFP for that closes this Friday, so just a reminder to get it in if you are interested to participate in that conference. And we have episode 2 of JJ and Paul, the InstructLab series, which you can see here, linked in the minutes, in the meeting notes, where let's take a quick look. I'm not going to play it. They talk about knowledge submission and how you can start engaging with the local model tuning. So thanks, JJ and Paul, for doing that video series. And then we have a really cool article on how to run InstructLab on a gaming PC. So I think it's this one. Yes. Oops, I'm not logged in. But yeah, Suma, I think she was online a little while ago, but she wrote this really nice walkthrough of what she did to get it set up on a gaming PC. So now I'm like, maybe it's a good excuse for me to get a gaming PC as well. And so again, if you are interested to, I'll try to share all these links and content on the social channels that we have for InstructLab. But if you have something to share, feel free to mention InstructLab or put it to the Reddit, the subreddit, InstructLab subreddit, and so on. And we have actually two events coming up this month. One is DevConf. It's actually already happening next weekend in Brno, Czech Republic, and then AI Dev in Paris the following week, June 19th and 20th. So for DevConf, we are trying to have like a small booth to share about InstructLab. So if you happen to be attending DevConf already, or if you're in the area and are interested to help out, please ping me either on Slack, Carol Chen, or email me, carol@redhat.com. And for AI Dev, we are also having a booth because Red Hat is sponsoring the event. And we have a couple of complimentary passes. So if you're in the Paris area and would like to attend, again, let me know and we can work something out. We won't be able to sponsor any kind of travel. So, that's not something we can help with, but the event passes, at least for AI Dev, we can provide. And DevConf, I think, is free anyway. So if you're interested to come talk to people about InstructLab, let me know and we can work out some details on how to do that. Any questions about that? I know these are kind of European-focused events that's happening, and there will be more US-focused events, I think, in the second half of the year. So,
When you say we have a booth at
Mhm.
AI Dev, is it like a Red Hat booth or an InstructLab booth, or
so
a
Red Hat is,
small or a small
yeah.
portion of the Red Hat one for InstructLab?
So actually, the sponsorship budget comes from OSPO. So even though we're sponsoring as Red Hat, the logo says Red Hat in the sponsorship, but we are trying to make it a InstructLab focused booth. So we don't have other projects represented, basically. So we'll have InstructLab logo and giving some InstructLab stickers, and hopefully get a demo running and show that off at the it's a small booth, like a table or something, so nothing fancy.
Okay.
Are you based in the area, Sebastian?
I'm in France, so
Okay.
and
Would you be interested to join us?
I'm aware of the tickets that we can get, and I've been asked if I could be part of the event, but I think I have things at home that will make it difficult right now.
Okay.
So I don't think I'll be able to join. But if they do a follow up, then I'll be there for sure.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure to loop you in if there's future
Yeah.
events in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Let's see. Before we go on, any comments or questions about any of the things we've discussed so far? Okay. If not, we'd like to get to know some of you. So I'm going to nominate Ali because today you brought up a nice topic for discussion for the meeting, and we'd like to just hear a bit about you if you'd like to share. Ali, are you still on? Let's see.
I think he had to drop.
So too bad I missed that. Okay. How about Russell? We haven't had intro from you yet.
Sure. So yeah, I'm Russell Bryant, and I work for Red Hat. I've been at Red Hat since 2011, but been working on maintaining different open source projects for about 20 years. And so this is my latest thing, working on InstructLab and having a blast. And I work on a bit of everything, so not any particular area, but having a lot of fun.
Thanks, Russell. You've been doing a lot for the project. Would you like to point somebody to do a quick intro?
I don't know who's gone and who hasn't, so I don't know. Spin the wheel, I guess.
Okay. BJ, have you introduced yourself? I don't think so.
I do not think so, no.
Mm.
So now you're going to make me do it.
I'm not forcing you, but we would like to hear.
Yeah, I'm an open source developer. I work in IBM Research. I joined the team trying to get InstructLab ready for its open sourcing debut. And so I'm very happy to be involved in that. A lot of my time has been spent on the taxonomy side of things, so doing a bunch of work there to get the triaging system up and running. And also I've been working on some of the CI/CD automation in the various projects to make sure we have a good quality CI/CD system so our pull requests are better. So enjoying the project, looking forward to seeing how it plays out over the coming months and years.
Thanks, BJ. I see you all the time, working on the PRs and the CI/CD stuff. So those are so important to keeping the project up and running well. So I appreciate that. Oleg, perhaps we have heard a lot from you, but maybe you can tell us more about yourself.
Oh yeah, sure. So I originally started on emerging technologies under the platforms team as a full stack developer, and then I moved over to the data science team. And then not too long after that, I started working on InstructLab, and here I am today.
Thank you. Thanks, Oleg. I'm also, if you want to share,
I have
maybe Julia.
something. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Sebastian.
sorry.
Yes.
No, it's just that I've tried to raise something into the admin channel of InstructLab. I'm not sure if everybody can see that channel or not, but essentially, I've been thinking of making a change into how the repo, say the CLI1 is configured. Right now, when someone pushes code and the code gets reviewed and someone approves the PR, if the committer pushes again and like new code, then the approval will stay on. And I think it's a problem because if we get a second approval, then the PR is going to get merged, but then the reviewers, they might not have gone through the new code yet, which means that maybe they will have requested change for that code, but then the PR is now merged. So there is an option on GitHub to change that. When new code is being pushed, then all the reviews will be dismissed, and then this will prevent the situation I just described. It's a bit more work, obviously, because maintainers really have to approve again, but this is how it should be done. And I see people being supportive on the chat. So if we're happy about that, I can go ahead and make that change right away, so that we don't get into a situation where we have code that gets merged and we're like, oh wait, but there is new code, and well, that's
right.
all.
Anybody has any comments or opinions about that? I think it's a good change, but
okay, well, it looks like it was an easy one. Thanks everyone for the plus ones. I'll go ahead and make the change right now, and I'll just put something in Slack as well too.
Great. Yeah, maybe you
Later.
can share it in the the community chat. Oh, wait, is it only for one repo or across the
just
board?
for the CLI right now,
Okay.
but this could be like for other repos too.
Okay.
And that's the Slack discussion I've started.
Right.
If you want to put
Yeah.
it into the notes, or I can actually go ahead and do it.
Thanks, Sebastian. Yeah, if you want to see the actual comment, it's actually in the admin channel of the InstructLab Slack. But so if you have further comments or opinions, you can add to that. But I think most people agree it's a good change to make. So please go ahead and do that. Thank you so much, Sebastian.
Yeah, I just did. Well,
All
thank
right,
you.
cool. That's efficient. All right. I think we can do more intros next time. Thanks to Russell, BJ, and Oleg this time. Because I see one item for the Q&A open source site, and who put this in? Because I believe
I put this down.
Okay, would you like to talk about? Yeah, please, Greg.
So yesterday in the triage meeting, we got on the topic of releasing models from training checkpoints, and that sort of transitioned into a separate discussion about how are people actually going to end up using taxonomy trees, and like if a user wanted to take the setup that we're trying to build here and actually do it for their organization, how would that process look right now? And we broached this topic of there are two separate models with one taxonomy tree, and that currently in triage we're letting PRs through that improve either one of them. And that kind of led us to this idea, well, it's not really like there's not visibility into what's happening, which model it's helping. All that stuff in the database is kind of behind the layer that the open source community doesn't have access to. And for these reasons, I think we wanted some action around what do we do to resolve this. I think it's important as an open source community, as well as just from a feasibility perspective. And I think triagers were feeling uneasy about merging PRs after that, given that we're kind of just building on this history. And if we don't do something to resolve this, then it's going to get harder and harder later on down the road. So I thought this would be a good forum to kind of raise this and start this discussion.
Yeah, good point. And thanks for raising this. Is there an issue people can comment on, or we will be creating one perhaps?
Did we make one in DevDocs?
I don't remember if one was made. I can check, but I remember they were saying that they were going to make one in DevDocs.
Okay.
We'll make it if it's not made already.
If it's made, you can link it there. If not, please create it. And in the meantime, does anybody have any thoughts about this to share at this meeting? Well, if I think maybe people need to take some time to think through that. So yeah, let's have a proper discussion. Please create an issue so we can share that, and I will also highlight that in when I share the recording and meeting minutes from this call. Thanks, Gregory. Okay. Any additional questions, open floor items, something you want to bring up? Well, if not, we can end a little bit earlier this time. And thanks again for all the great discussions. I'll make sure to highlight some of them that's needed that that was brought up today in today's meeting. So watch out for them so you can make your comments and feedback in those discussion items. Thanks again, and we'll resume the same time next week.
All right. Thanks all. See you.
See you. Bye-bye.